Hi guys, welcome. This is very exciting for me because I feel like I've been doing vlogging for a minute, but like to be quite honest with you guys, I wasn't posting absolutely any of them. So I've really just been talking to a camera, which is
they're freaking pudic.
By the way, there's a couple things up. You can look at them. They're from a while ago. I do have a fake reality show up on this channel. Please check it out. It's called Glam. It's Fire, Fuego, Flame. Fantastic, fabulous.
Fragilastic dope.
This is my unicorn corny, and I'm just gonna do this as I talk because I think it's just one of my, just a little tick I'm gonna have, and probably really satisfying for you to watch. And maybe next time I can attach a mic to corny so that we can get a little like ASMR. I have your guys' questions that I asked in my last TikTok, and there's so many
juicy good ones.
I don't really know how to pick, so what I'm gonna do is just like close my eyes,
Like everything happens for a reason.
and just like, and then whatever I land on, I will choose an answer. I literally talk for 97 years. If you can't tell, in my TikToks, I get cut off years before I want to. And I have so much more to say than what I put up on there. So really what you're seeing on my TikTok is a fraction of 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 my thought process. Even if you don't want to put them up, I highly recommend you guys vlog, because once you start talking, I know you're kind of in your head at first and like, let me get in my head all the freaking time. Like,
that's why I have corny.
but once you just start talking and you're talking for long enough, thoughts will just kind of start flowing to you, kind of like in conversation with someone or
in therapy.
I'm gonna just close my eyes and do like a fun little like raffle.
I'm gonna roll the dice, if you will.
I see one right now. I see one right now before I even scroll. Someone said, how do you get out of your damn head? Here's your answer.
You don't.
You stop fighting it. Number one, before I give you all of the self-help books and tell you about my journey, mental health and all that stuff, number one is just be like,
yes, this is me.
the most liberating thing I've ever done for myself is when I'm in my head, be like, that's fucking okay. This is just me right now. In other moments, I'm awesome. And no awesome is better than another awesome. But in other moments, I feel like I'm like chilling and I'm there and I'm present. In other moments, I won't be. And it's because I'm a
deeply intellectual being.
And I'd rather have an evolved brain and lots of thoughts going on than none. Because there really are some people who
just don't got much going on up there.
As I got older and I learned more, I became more self-aware, because you're just more aware of your existence, of maybe what existence is or what you think it might be. All of these factors that are going to cause you to sort of be in your head 10 times more than you used to be when you were younger. I'm not saying there aren't things you can do to get you out of your head. There absolutely are. I always say, like, be a kid, go laugh, go play, go do whatever you do when you were little. At the same time though, embrace the fact that you have a very complicated, beautiful brain. That's gonna be such a freaking important part of your purpose here on earth. So as I know hard as it can be sometimes, I know I even struggle in conversation with people. Even though I may not appear that way, I get super in my head. You're just freaking aware of yourself, man. Don't be mad at yourself for being in your head all the time, because literally everyone else is in their head too. It's a misconception that we have about each other, that the other person we're talking to is like the most present, most flawless human being, when they're literally just as in their head as we are, or more so. So the worst thing you can do is also like resist yourself. You are perfect in all your forms. This is something I talk about all the time, is we tend to create this separate, ideal, perfect version of ourselves that is like talkative and outgoing or not, and whatever in your world. Okay, in my world, it would be that I'm like outgoing and talented and smart and communicate really well, and that's my ideal self. And in many ways, like, that is me, sure, at my nature. But there are other aspects of myself that are quiet and introverted and can even be like socially anxious and things like that. And rather than being like, okay, this is one ideal version of myself, anytime I sway from that version, not being myself, all of these parts of yourselves work together, not only work together, but they work for each other. So if you're one day feeling like a bit more introverted than you are another day, don't force yourself to go out and talk to people. Sometimes it's just an indication that we're supposed to be maybe doing something creative that day or by ourselves. But if one day you're feeling super talkative and you want to go make a video or go out on the town,
Corona safe,
go do that, you know? I think that we fight ourselves all the time and we try to be something we're not. And as long as we're trying to be something we're not, our body is going to be indicating to us that something's wrong. And that can manifest in sickness, disease. Best thing you can do with all of this is stop stressing, accept your states. I call us a beautiful freaking symphony of versions of ourselves. None better than the other. Accept it, love it, baby, you're smart. You're freaking
Albert Iron Queen.
We're king. So, okay, what are your favorite coping mechanisms? What are your favorite coping mechanisms? Rather than coping mechanism, I would say the things that literally made monumental shifts in my entire
paradigm
as a human being who struggles with mental health is just stopping doing anything I fucking hated. Like literally, you guys, plain and simple. Someone asked what I do for work. Anything that feels like work, no. It should never be work. I shouldn't feel like I have to exert energy. I should feel like I'm floating on top of the world. And trust me, that took years of jobs and doing things I hated to really realize that the only times I was not tired or miserable was when I was acting, performing, writing,
singing,
filming, editing, and I've said this in other videos in my TikToks and stuff, but I'll say it again. Everyone kind of plays their role, plays a purpose on this earth. It's all so important. Everyone plays their role. Not referring to any
anti-feminist women in the kitchen shit. Definitely not kidding. That was a joke. I shouldn't even have gone there.
But what I'm saying is like everyone plays their role in terms of like this phone I'm looking at right now. Like someone loved
designing this phone.
I could never ever be interested in designing a phone. It's just not something my brain is like naturally compelled to do. So yeah, stopping doing things I hated. You won't need to have as many coping mechanisms anymore because you actually got to the root of the problem, which is that you were just doing stuff you hated. Let's see, jobs I've had. Oh my God, I've worked in retail. I've worked as a server. I've worked as a babysitter, which being a nanny definitely goes number one. Wouldn't do it full time because there's just other stuff I want to focus my energy on, but I think it's just because I'm naturally maternal and one day I want to have kids. But I definitely, if I'm not working the right side of my brain, I think, right, is your creative hemisphere, I start to get anxiety. I once had an acting teacher who said, anytime you are literally not doing what is in alignment with your purpose, because again, everyone has a purpose here on earth. What makes the world go round. It's why there's trees planted in a certain spot to the right of you right now because someone had to plant those trees there, or that houses get built because someone's really into architecture. So anytime you're fighting your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing as a part of this ecosystem, your body's gonna figure out a way to tell you something's wrong. So anxiety, depression, mental illness, all those things. And this goes for people too. Anytime you are hanging out or involving yourself with people who are also not in alignment with your purpose, who discourage you from doing that thing you love to do. And it doesn't even have to be like they are outwardly discouraging you. It can be as small as just people who don't share the same interests as you. And I know that's kind of hard to hear because I know a lot of people just have friends who, are really awesome and supportive and stuff. And that's awesome. But you got to have some people in your life who, when you're around, like your ideas are stimulated, you feel inspired. You leave them being like, oh, I want to do this. You just have so many ideas. So I really encourage you to find just a tight circle who cheers you on front row, foam finger, and can also get up on stage and do a few things with you. It's crazy what that has done for me. I grew up in a town, I grew up in Connecticut.
We'll get to that.
And the environment wasn't exactly catered to creative interests at all. So I super tried to be something I wasn't, and that didn't fucking work out for me because I just had panic attacks all the time, and I would literally have moments where I would be driving my car and just be like, you know what? I might just
drive into a wall right now.
It's crazy to think that that was once my life. Obviously, I still have my bad days. I still struggle with anxiety. Just the other day, I had like a little panic attack. But when I say they're far and few, they are very far and very few. And the really good moments are unbelievable now. Whereas in high school, kind of, and going into college too, until I kind of rid myself of relationships that were not inspiring me. Not even like in like they weren't good enough for me. No, like people that I would just leave them feeling worse about myself. And again, it doesn't have to be that someone's outwardly being like, you suck. If you just find yourself holding back in conversation with someone, you want to be around people that you can just freaking blow your thoughts out onto.
Let them fucking rip.
And those people are just cheering you on as you talk, and they just want to listen to you and love you. And they're people that you can also feel weird and uncomfortable around. You are having a weird day. You don't have to be in your head and fight those things. I now only have people in my life, like my roommate is literally unbelievable. If I'm feeling anxious or weird, I'm not gonna like just sit there and like pretend to have a conversation with her. I'm gonna be like, yeah, dude, I'm really sorry. I feel really weird right now. That goes for all relationships too. Your partner should be someone who you can just blow your thoughts out onto. And that's why I say like all of this stuff about power complexes, and I've been there, I've had them. I definitely dealt with power issues regarding a need to always have power over my partner because I was in a kind of toxic relationship for 4 years that left me feeling very powerless. And so a few years following, I really just went after guys that like I knew would kiss the ground I walked on. What I learned is that it's not fulfilling for your soul at all. So I know there's a lot of this stuff going around on TikTok. You can have a million relationships with men, different men, and kind of have a a one-up over them at all times and feel like a bad bitch or whatever, but that's very temporarily satisfying. And when you go to bed at night, I don't know that you'll be going to bed with a smile on your face, you know? It's so much better to feel emotionally fulfilled, you guys, and just feel you can be yourself around someone. In developing super superficial relationships with men like that, I felt very ungrounded around them. I felt really unstable and not like myself. That's when you will also be having all the anxiety, depression, all of that stuff, because you're fighting yourself. Just don't fight yourself. If you get nothing from this video, stop fighting yourself. And I know it can be weird. Like, I still, after so many years of trying to, like, I by nature, I'm talkative, loud. I'm the most. In many ways, I don't even feel like my personality like is necessarily widely accepted by society at all. Like, it's not normal. Like, when I leave the house and I like dance in public and I'm serious, you guys. I used to not do it, but trust me when I tell you, fighting yourself and fighting your nature is so much more painful than being yourself.